On Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers played a highly anticipated Super Bowl rematch against a Kansas City Chiefs team that has not been playing very good football. But San Francisco had their own problems, including an unusually bad performance by the quarterback Brock Purdy, missed tackles on defense, and of course, special teams. This was an ugly game to watch. Now, I could probably talk for 2 hours about the myriad of problems I saw just on offense alone, but the truth of the matter is the defense, even though there were some miscues, probably played good enough to win this game. But it's the special teams that I'm really interested in because once again, for the 6th consecutive week, we've seen them make a major mistake in one of the 3 key phases of the game. So I thought it was probably a good time to do a deep dive into the special teams, pinpoint what the problems are, and discuss possible solutions. Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns, where we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing. Let's start at the beginning. In week 1, as we saw in the intro, Jake Moody made 6 field goals in the game, and the special teams played well. But in week 2, things started to go wrong right away. On a punt early in the ballgame, the 49ers have 4 blockers against 4 punt rushers on the left side. So far, so good. But on the right side, the Vikings send 4 rushers against just 3 men on the line of scrimmage for the 49ers. The 2 men on the end slide over to pick up the rush on the outside, the right move. But both George Odom and Robert Beal block the man in the middle, rookie linebacker Dallas Turner. Neither one of them slide themselves, and CJ Ham has a free path directly to the punter. And as we go game by game and take a look at these plays, the question starts to become, is it the players that are making the errors, or is it a matter of coaching? Well, I'm sure I can already hear some of you in the comments saying, look, if these issues crop up week after week with different players, that probably points to the coaching. And right now, I can't really think of an argument against that. All right, let's move ahead to week 3. In a game with plenty of momentum swings, the Rams got a big one early with this fake punt. And watch as the Rams get up to the line of scrimmage and then quickly make the direct snap to Ronnie Rivers. Now, the frustrating thing for the 49ers is that they saw this coming. Kyle Shanahan said after the game that the call was punt safe, but because the Rams snapped the ball so quickly, we can see that George Odom has to scramble to get back into position now. The snap happens so fast that Dee Winters and Chris Connolly are caught off guard, and Chris Connolly gives up the edge. Now, the 49ers had multiple opportunities to win this game late, and after making 6 consecutive field goals in week 1, the 49ers call on Jake Moody to make what would have been a game-winning kick here in week 2. But you can see it's a long one. They're setting up at the logo. This is going to be a 55-yarder. It is not a gimme in the NFL, but man, you would love Moody to make that kick in that clutch situation when the game is on the line. And look at the Rams sideline react. They knew right away how important that was. And the final special teams miscue in week 3 occurred when the 49ers had the punt late in the game, and the Rams got a big return to set them up for the game-winning drive. And for the first time, but definitely not the last time in this video, we would see a theme come up on the punt coverage team, where the San Francisco 49ers don't seem to understand who was supposed to maintain contain to the edge. Here, it looks like Jake Tongas is supposed to maintain contain to the outside. Instead, he goes to the inside, and Xavier Smith is able to get to the edge. Just like the Vikings, the Rams would go on to win this game. But the following week, the 49ers would get back on track against the New England Patriots, a game that had a lot of big plays, including this spectacular catch from Jawan Jennings that reminded me a lot of this catch by John Stallworth in Super Bowl 14. But we would still see another big special teams miscue against the Patriots. We all know Guerrero has great speed, but here he fumbles the football and New England would recover and then they would score. So this was a significant play in the game. It sure looked like Garendo wanted to hit this hole and was surprised when Schaubert gets blocked back in that direction, fumbling the football, and I don't think we can blame the coaches for this one. Okay, let's move forward another week, and we would see more special teams problems for the 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals. Here, Jake Moody does not get all of the football on the kickoff. It comes up a little bit short, a little bit of a line drive kick, and the Cardinals are going to have a return. Jake Moody has to make the tackle, and he would be injured on the play, and as we know now, that would be significant, leading to special teams problems that continue to this day. So, let's take a look at the play. Once again, we would see a member of the coverage team, this time Rock Ya-Sin, fail to maintain his lane to the outside and go to the inside. He realizes his mistake and tries to get back outside, but he ends up running into his own man, and Jake Moody is forced to attempt to make the tackle himself, and he is injured on the play. Now, without a field goal kicker, the 49ers were forced into ridiculous situations such as 4th and 23. Arizona would go on to win this game. All right, let's move ahead to week 6. 49ers at Seahawks on a short week. The 49ers had to sign a kicker. They signed Matthew Wright, who turned out to be extremely reliable at field goals, but did not have a strong leg. So with the 49ers dominating this game 23-3, we would see where this would become an issue on another short kickoff. We would see a return, and we would see the 49ers fail to cover that return. Now let's take a look at it, because this one does not get to the edge. It goes right up the middle here. Here, Chenault has a full head of steam, and there's no way Mahoney's going to be able to make this open field tackle. Now, Jalen Graham does have the opportunity. He tries to lay the hit, but he's unable to knock Chenault down, and he is gone off to the races, and this would bring Seattle right back into this ball game. The 49ers would win, but it was closer than it should have been. And that would bring us to the very next week, home against the Kansas City Chiefs. And as you can see, the 49ers are already trailing the Chiefs in this game, and they have to punt the ball back to them. It's imperative that they cover this punt and not give the Chiefs an easy opportunity here. But once again, we would see a team get to the edge on this 49ers coverage team, and it's a big return for Kansas City. The worst possible situation for San Francisco. All right off the bat here, I just can't ignore this. This absolutely should have been called an illegal block in the back against Kansas City right here. But, you know, we can talk about the officiating when the 49ers play the Kansas City Chiefs. The real problem with this play is, once again, we have a player, Tatum Bethune, fail to maintain the edge. He goes to the inside, allowing Kansas City to get to the outside. And if you're the Chiefs, this is just too easy. And again, the 49ers are in the awkward position of having to have their kicker attempt to make the tackle.
Yep.
It's a 55-yard return, and in this defensive game, the Chiefs would score a touchdown with the short field, going up 14-3. And here we're going to pick it up in the third quarter with the Chiefs up 14-6. And the 49ers struggled in short yardage for most of this game, but here we would see a pretty nicely designed quarterback sneak, almost more like a quarterback draw, actually. Dominic Pooney and Kyle Juszczyk both go to the outside, drawing the attention of the defensive tackle. And with Jordan Mason heading the other direction, that draws the attention of the other defensive tackle, and there's nobody left to stop Brock Purdy from going right up the middle. Touchdown, 49ers, and in a close game like this, that was a big score. Now, in a defensive game where it's really hard to score and points are at a premium, and with your third kicker of the season, this was a situation that screamed for the 49ers to go for two. You know, it's 14-12 now, so even if they kicked the extra point, they would still be losing to the Chiefs even after all that work. Well, the 49ers decide to kick the extra point, and Anders Carlson misses the extra point. It's 14-12. The Chiefs still have the lead, and after a lot of other miscues by the 49ers, they would go on to lose this game. Very disappointing.
Yep.
All right, we looked at all 7 games the 49ers have played so far this season, and we saw major special teams miscues in 6 out of those 7 games. There are 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams, and special teams is arguably as important as those other 2. Well, the 49ers desperately need a fix here, right? You just can't have one phase of the game where you're constantly getting it handed to you. So what are the possible solutions? Well, many people have suggested a potential coaching change, that maybe it's time for Brian Schneider to turn the special teams over to somebody else. And after looking at the film, it's hard to argue against that. We see a lot of times players don't understand where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to be doing. Sometimes we see players make simple athletic mistakes, such as when Guerrero accidentally ran into the back of Eric Schaubert. Those kinds of things sometimes are just going to happen. It's also worth noting that the new kickoff rules are designed to encourage returns, but a lot of these were punt returns against the 49ers as well. At the end of the day, we can't argue with the facts that the 49ers are on their 3rd kicker of the season, and it's causing problems, and it's continuing to cause problems week in and week out. It might be this case where a change has to be made at the bye week. And you guys know me. If you've followed me and followed my videos for years, you know I don't say that lightly. It's a serious thing to do. But at the end of the day, I think it needs to be done. This cannot continue, right? You cannot have a winning football team that consistently has a problem on special teams. It just does not work. Go back to that season when the Green Bay Packers were, 15-1, 16-1. Right? They had the best record in football. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC. The 49ers went into Green Bay on the snowy, frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And what happened in that game? The 49ers won that game thanks to a special teams play. Have we come this far? Have we forgotten what happened just a few short years ago? Well, the 49ers really have some soul searching to do. They're going to play the Dallas Cowboys first. I like the 49ers matchup in that game. Dallas really seems to be struggling in a lot of areas. The owner's getting on the radio and saying crazy things. So I like the 49ers. That game's at Levi's on Sunday night. That crowd's going to be fired up. It's going to be incredible. But after that, they have the bye week. And I think if there's going to be a change, that's when you might see it. And it could be, too, that the 49ers decide not to make a change at all. You figure all the best special teams coaches are probably working in the NFL right now, right? And then you've got another group of special teams coaches already working in college. So where are you going to go out and find a special teams coach? You're going to get like the 100th best special teams coach that's sitting at home not doing anything? It might be tough to make a change at this point in the season. So if they choose to stay the course, you can't really fault the 49ers for that either. All I know is that this cannot continue. All right, I know this was a tough video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I want to thank all my new subscribers. Look at this, over 70 new subscribers last week. Wow, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you hung around for a tough video like this one too. And of course, I have to thank those of you who have gone the extra mile to help support this channel. Guys, I know times are tough out there right now, so thank you so much for your support. It really humbles me and honors me. I can't thank you enough. Wow. I truly mean it. And I want to give an extra special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Guys, thank you so much. You are an essential part of this team. I could not do these videos without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it. All right, it's going to be the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys at Levi Stadium on Sunday Night Football. That is going to be a crazy atmosphere. 2 desperate teams trying to get back on track. Wow, I cannot wait to see that game. And I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but you know we will be here to look at the film, including the special teams film, and I will see you guys then.